More. Let's move on to Dwayne Eskridge, who went with the 24th pick of the second round. And this is a guy that I know both you and I, Kyle, are not high on at all. I'll let you speak about him first.
Yeah, I'm totally not interested, and I really don't understand the hype. I mean, you can make the same case that this guy has a high draft capital, and he has a very similar body style and athleticism to Rondell Moore, Elijah Moore. A lot of these slot receivers that we're talking about. But to me, that's pretty much where the book stops. He doesn't have the ability to in that offense to overtake Lockett or Metcalf. We already know that is going to be a run heavy team. So I'm just not interested at all, to be honest with you. Like, I really liked the Eskridge pre-draft a lot higher than most people, and if he would have landed in a different spot, I would be a lot more enthusiastic about it. I'm not knocking him for going to a small school. I'm not knocking him for being small. I just really hate the landing spot. I don't see any upside. And I think that people that are investing him in the second rounds I've seen in rookie drafts, and people are really high on him. And I don't get it. I think they're going to be very disappointed. I don't think you're going to be able. I think you're going to be lucky to get a third round pick for this kid next year, and you might not be able to get that.
Another thing to consider with Dwayne Eskridge is here's a guy where there's complete uncertainty around his quarterback. I know a lot of discussions have been about Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson and their dissatisfaction, but earlier in the offseason, Russell Wilson was a player that a lot of people thought was going to get traded, and the Bears made a push on him. A lot of teams made a push at him because they know that Russell Wilson isn't satisfied with Pete Carroll and he isn't satisfied with that offense. So do we even know that Russell Wilson is going to be the quarterback long term? We don't
No.
know that. I think that he will be their quarterback this season, but 2-3 years down the line, it probably won't be Russell Wilson throwing the ball to Dwayne Eskridge. And we're talking about DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett already there in Seattle, and we already know that Eskridge probably isn't going to have a great early season anyway with those guys already there, as you mentioned, Kyle. But just imagine that offense with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, but a subpar quarterback other than Russell Wilson, or just any quarterback other than Russell Wilson, basically, throwing the
Yeah.
ball to his receivers. Then all of a sudden, there might not even be room for both DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to have a lot of success in that offense. So this is super concerning because I don't like him in the short term or the long term there in Seattle. And this is a deep threat guy who's maybe going to get a few targets per game at most, in my respective opinion. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Well, I was just
Go
say,
ahead.
a lot of times, when I'm looking at whether I want to acquire a player in a draft or I want to move off of the pick, I'm looking at like a guy. I would much rather have a guy like Darnell Mooney, in his second year because, at least he has a clear path to playing time, and you can't get a second round rookie pick for Darnell Mooney, and even in this week draft class, so I think you have a better chance of maybe getting it if people see him do it 2 years in a row and make an advancement. But I just don't see how you're going to I don't see how you're going to get any type of production that's going to help you. And I don't see how you're going to be able to recoup this pick if you want to try to trade out of it. A lot of this stuff is like, what if I take a player, can I at least get my value out of this player next year? Because I'm not looking for a lot of these rookies to produce. So
Good point there.